Hi, today is June 12th, 2026, and here are my poems for the day. The first one is poem number 903 for the year, Happy With. I finished a painting a week ago Sunday after telling a friend I'd like to create a painting that I feel as happy with as I am with the paintings I made in the 80s and 90s. And this painting that I finished late last month falls into that category. It doesn't have a name yet, but at least it's finished, and at least I've started another one, and at least I have 6 more blank canvases. So as long as I can keep feeling this feeling of momentum, then hopefully I will create a few more paintings I am happy with. Poem number 904, Happy With. He wanted to have a happy width, which meant that he would like to have a width that was not as wide as the width he currently had. That is not to say that he had an unhappy width, as any width was better than having no width at all, but he was a modest and shy man who didn't want to make waves, and it was hard to be unobtrusive with the width he currently had. And he knew what the solutions were, and he had begun to implement them, and if he remained diligent and alive, then in time he would have a width that he was happy with, a happy width. Poem number 905, a good name. I think a good name for my new painting is Purple Eggplant Orgasm. Purple because there is no purple in the painting, eggplant because there are no depictions of eggplants, and orgasm because I've decided that the names of all of my paintings should have some sort of sexual reference, and also because then I could use the painting as the cover of my next book, and I can call my next book Purple Eggplant Orgasm. It is nice to have the title of the June book all worked out with nearly 2/3 of the month left. Now all I have to do is write like 102 more poems. Poem number 906, Purple Eggplant Orgasm. And when the eggplant came, purple spurts spurted everywhere, and everyone within the ambit of the eggplant was doused with, and if they drank it, soused on purple eggplant orgasm. And let me be both clear and graphic. Purple eggplant orgasm is not a mocktail or a cocktail. It's the real deal, the actual purple cum, the aftermath of the eggplant orgasm, and there were drips and drabs and gobs and globs of it all over the vicinity. Perhaps it was unseemly for the eggplant to have had its orgasm in a public place, the town square no less, during a dedication ceremony that the entire town attended. One might suggest that perhaps the eggplant ought to have had its orgasm behind closed doors. But I think it is rather unrealistic to expect decorum from an eggplant. And the last poem of the day, poem number 907, Big Ask. It was a big ask, bigger than any other. Most of the other asks were intimidated by both the size and outrageousness of the biggest ask in Ask Down. But the big ask kept asking, even though it knew how outlandish it was and how unlikely it was that anyone would ever answer the ask in anything other than the negative. The ask would ask, and the answer would always be no, but this is what one had to expect when one was such a big ask. The ask accepted it with grace. It is better to be a big ask than to be a big ass, the big ask would say. Of course, if you were to ask the citizens of Ask Town, most of them would say that the big ask was also a big ass. Most of them would say that the big ask was both. All right, that's it. Thank you. I appreciate you.